arbitrary, unrestrained, and autocratic in the use of authority. Capricious, given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. Once again, these are the two adjectives that are being used to describe the SEC behavior in another massive loss that the SEC just received here today. Now, I wish it was the Ripple versus SEC case. That's still going on, but we have another victory for the good guys and the good gals and for this country in our capital markets, in our digital asset space that we want to allow to operate freely, openly, transparently. All we've asked is simple rules of the road for cryptocurrency. And once again, the SEC getting caught trying to overextend their jurisdiction, their power. And by now, I think it just goes without mentioning that they have completely lost a faithful allegiance to the law. So folks, in this update, we're going to break down this loss that the SEC just received here today, why it's so important. And I also want to give a shout out because the documentary XRP Unleashed, which is now rigged from the start, is live. Just got the message from Maya. The website was crashing because so many people were trying to get in this morning. It has been fixed. It's back up and live. So if you have pre-ordered the documentary, you can watch it now. And if you haven't yet, you're going to link up down below. I got it right there for you. We're going to go buy this documentary. It's $15. And this is how we support the whole team that put this together, self-funded, completely independent. They didn't allow Hollywood to come in and buy up this movie and then bury it. They've put this out here with their own efforts. And what we need to do now is to get this message out. You see, we're going to talk about it in this court case right here. We are winning. We have been pushing back, gaining ground, and we're about to achieve a full victory and full clarity. The full victory is not just calling out the SEC, but actually getting clarity from Congress, rules of the road, and allowing the United States to become a leader in the cryptocurrency digital asset space. But getting started here, folks, I'm going to have it linked up down below for you. Here is the Twitter handle of Fruition Productions. The handle is fruition_films. So I'm going to link that up down below. The website right here, fruitionproductions.com. This is the front page. You're going to click on the link right here, and it's going to take you to Rigged from the Start, also known as XRP Unleashed. And I'm really happy that they changed the title of this too, because I think that the story of corruption is what is going to sell. There's still a stigma around crypto. And so the way that we get this out is by supporting them. We buy this documentary. It's $15. We host watch parties. We share it out. We get the word out. We help these folks that, put all of their money, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into basically getting this documentary out here. What we can do now is support them, get the word out, and continue to apply pressure where do fit, which is in case after case here where the SEC is trying to overstep their jurisdiction. We are achieving massive victories. I'm going to break down what's happening right here. Real quick, if you didn't see my video this morning, I dropped my initial thoughts and kind of review on the documentary. So I'm not going to get into that here. That was in this morning's video, which I can also link up down below. But I want to get into this lawsuit right here in this one. Check it out. From the Financial Services Committee. Another L for Gary Gensler's crusade against the digital asset ecosystem on his way out the door, this time on the dealer rule. Chair Gensler's constant power grabs will leave the SEC with less authority while weakening our capital markets and stifling innovation. Well, it's one thing to put out tweets. We need some action. We need some subpoenas. We need to get this thing moving. Enough of these tweets. I got to say, I'm sick of this crap, man. Get something done. You guys have the power and take it back. Oh, I'm going to get fired up already. We're just getting started here, folks. Check it out. So this case is against the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas, the plaintiff's motion for summary judgment against the SEC. Now, what we have here is the court heard oral arguments on the above referenced filings on November 14, 2024. Having considered the applicable law, the court concludes that defendants engaged in unlawful agency action taking in excess of their authority. Therefore, the court grants plaintiff's motion for summary judgment and denies the defendant's cross motion for summary judgment. A complete loss for the SEC. The dealer rule has been struck down. SEC exceeded its statutory authority. Huge win for the entire industry. Blockchain Association and the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas. This is what it had to be this way. It had to be this way. And how big are the damages? Absolutely freaking massive. Here's the analysis. Plaintiffs provide several independent reasons that the dealer rule violates the APA, requiring the court to vacate or set aside the rule. Plaintiffs first argue that the dealer rule constitutes unlawful agency rulemaking because it exceeds the SEC's statutory authority to regulate securities dealers. They specifically argue that the SEC, by way of the rule, erroneously expands the meaning of dealer beyond what the statutory text, structure, and context allow. Kind of like how they're trying to expand the Howey test, right, to encompass every single asset in the world. Well, if it's digital, it's a security, according to the SEC, right? Second, plaintiffs argue that the SEC's promulgation of the dealer rule as it applies to digital asset markets was arbitrary and capricious, and thus violated its obligation to engage in reasoned decision-making. Because there is no genuine dispute regarding material facts, and because statutory interpretation is a question of law, the court concludes that the SEC exceeded its statutory authority by enacting such a broad definition of dealer, untethered from the text, history, and structure of the Exchange Act of 1933, the actual law that was passed by Congress that established the SEC and gave them this power, right? Now, I went to Grok to get the summary of what this case meant and what this really was about, right? So this case was about the dealer rule. The lawsuit focuses on the SEC's newly adopted rule that expands the definition of who qualifies as a dealer in securities. This broader definition could potentially encompass participants in the digital asset market, which the plaintiffs argue creates uncertainty and could have disastrous effects on the industry. They claim this expansion exceeds the SEC's statutory authority and violates the Administrative Procedure Act, that's the APA, by not engaging adequately with industry feedback during the rulemaking process. This is what they've won on, right? This is what they have won on right here. This new dealer rule that they've basically adopted a new rule which expanded their definition of who qualifies as a dealer in securities. And of course, they were trying to say that basically every digital asset was a security, that market makers was a security, right? And that if you wanted, basically what this comes down to, what is the dealer rule that the SEC is trying to implement? That's the next question that I ask Grok. The expanded definition, the rule seeks to redefine dealers in a way that captures more market participants than previously. Traditionally, dealers were entities that regularly buy and sell securities for their own account as part of their business, often with customer-facing role. The new definition, though, includes entities that provide liquidity to the market through their trading activities, even if they don't have a conventional customer base. So basically, if you provide liquidity to a DeFi protocol, you're a dealer. That's how crazy this is, how overextended the SEC truly is right here. To say that if you provide liquidity to a DeFi protocol, if you're basically a market maker, that you're a securities dealer. It's crazy. Even though they can't come on here and tell us whether or not Ethereum's a security or not, right? But if you engage in ETH DeFi, well, then you're a dealer. I mean, this is insane. Continuing on, the qualitative standards. Under the new rules, a person could be deemed a dealer if they engage in a regular pattern of buying and selling securities that has the effect of providing liquidity to other market participants. This includes regularly expressing trading interests that are at or near the best available prices on both sides of the market for the same security, earning revenue primarily from capturing bid-ask spreads or from incentives offered by trading venues or for liquidity provisions. You know, and what's interesting here, if you look at the XRP Ledger AMM, right, when you are a market maker, liquidity provider for the AMM on the XRP Ledger, you are, earning your fees for providing your liquidity, but it's completely done at the protocol level. You're not even dealing with anything other than the interfaces that have been created, right, that allow you to basically use the tools on the XRP Ledger. But in no way are you a dealer of any securities when you are providing liquidity in a decentralized ledger where basically participants are making buy and sell offers and you're helping them conduct that through the decentralized protocol, not through a broker dealer house that you've set up or some firm that you've set up, right? Once again, laws that were passed in the 30s and the 40s are trying to be applied here to this modern blockchain technology, and it just doesn't fit. right? You can't put the round peg through the square, or the square peg through the round hole, right? Now, continuing, the rule right here, inclusion of crypto asset securities, and then this is what they've lost on. The rule explicitly applies to all securities, including crypto asset securities. Is ETH a crypto asset security? According to the first registered custodian of digital asset securities, Prometheum, that was basically sanctioned by the SEC, the first one, Ethereum was the first digital asset security that they listed. Ain't that something? This means that if someone's trading activities in crypto asset securities meet the criteria set for dealers, they might need to register as such even if operating in decentralized finance or similar innovative sectors. Exceptions and exclusions. The rule does not exclude registered investment advisors or private funds from being potentially classified as dealers if their activities fit the new definition. The implications for crypto and DeFi. This rule has significant implications for the crypto industry, particularly for DeFi platforms and liquidity providers, as it might require them to register with the SEC, comply with securities laws, and join a self-regulatory organization like FINRA, which could be challenging or even impossible for some DeFi operations. Now, once again, guys, the good news here, the SEC has been struck down. Described as being arbitrary and capricious once again, it goes without saying that they don't have a faithful allegiance to the law. And now is the moment where we continue to put the pedal through the freaking floor and we send this thing home. SEC versus Ripple, for all intents and purposes, it is over. At this point, I almost wish that Ripple would just continue fighting this case, go forward with their appeal, and just go for a full and complete victory against the SEC, right? But at this point, the SEC is going to be closing up, wrapping up, settling up every case that they got because the courts are shutting them down. The American people have shut them down. Our voices were heard. Not only did we elect Donald Trump, but we elected over 200 pro-crypto candidates from both sides of the aisle. Once again, Democrats, Republicans, left, right, up, down, identify as whatever the hell you want. We want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on a level playing field, and we are going to get it. We're not asking for it. It's going to happen. It will be established. It will be maintained. And America, once again, will lead in the digital asset space. Just like we've established the gold standard of capital markets, just like we used to have the gold standard of currency, literally backed by gold, how far we've gone. But we are bringing this thing back. We're going to take this thing home. We're going all the way. Another historical loss for the SEC. How embarrassing for Gary Gensler and his administration. Why the hell has he not submitted his resignation letter yet? If you appreciate what we're doing, the fight that we've been at here for a while now, make sure you guys smack it, tap it, share it out far and wide. Everything's available at zachrector.com. I got quick links down below. Please help us out by supporting the cause. I got the links for the documentary down below. And this documentary is coming out at the perfect time. Not only do we have all these cases now adding to the massive amount of damages that have been done here, adding to the evidence of the SEC overstepping their bounds, but now we get to take it home. XRP gets set free, and we get to save this country at the same time. Thank you so much for all of your support. God bless you all. And the SEC just keeps on losing. Let's see ya. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.